So hey gang, this video is going to be talking about the inexpensive ways to dirt bike. And specifically in this episode, I'm going to talk about bikes in general and specifically the Chinese options. So this comes from some people talking to me about why don't I buy a real bike? There's no reason why I wouldn't buy, quote unquote, a real bike. It just kind of came down to affordability at the time. The market has gotten so bad that a brand new bike right now, as of 2021, I would be talking more in the 250 lines, but I'm going to go as high as the 450s because they're the most expensive. In 2021, you're easily talking almost 11 grand for the Japanese bikes, maybe even more with tax, tag, title out the door, because you're dealing with brick and mortar stores. You have to pay all that. So you cut down to the 250s, and I've heard as low as 7,500. Some deals even better than that. Suzuki's offering some real good deals right now, to be honest with you. But their technology is, 5 years old compared to the new stuff. The 2021s, their stuff's a little bit older, but I'm getting sidetracked. So the reason why I went with a Chinese bike was because it was super affordable. And I'm speaking just dirt bike, a little bit dual sport, but dirt bike only for me. And I paid $2,100, less than $2,000. $2,100 is the current price of this Orion RXB 250. That included shipping to my door. So, you can't really beat that. I know a lot of people in the comments have posted up before in the past that, well, why don't you buy a used Japanese bike? And I'm going to answer that. You guys can debate me all you want. I'm telling you the truth about this. What you get when you get a used Japanese bike is something approximately 10 years older or older, and you get someone else's headache. Especially the four-strokes, they don't last that long, ridden hard dirt biking. If you're just trail riding, that's a different thing. But, ridden hard dirt biking, maybe 5 years. And then you're into the major repairs. Cylinders, transmissions, valve seats and a valve job. The stuff that, because of the technology being such that it's the leading edge of technology, it's also very expensive and doesn't last as long. So this Orion is an example of a bike that you can have a dirt bike, off-road bike, whatever you want to call it. It's not the leading edge. I'm not saying you can buy this from the store, buy this online and go race motocross. While I have done that, I had to do a lot of upgrades. So I'm not talking about that specifically. I'm just saying, as a dirt bike or a trail bike or a weekend warrior type bike, this is a very good option, and it's super affordable. Air-cooled, single overhead cam, 200, well, not even quite 250 cc's. The new one is 249, but mine was 223, and I've done upgrades to it. But to get back to the point, we're talking about affordability, and the Chinese bikes are now offering a very good value, and they're offering you options of different manufacturers. So I'm going to name some of the manufacturers and some of the things that they're offering. You've got SSR, you've got GPX, you've got Kayo, and now this specific to what I own, the Orion. The SSR, the GPX, and the Kayo all offer even higher quality bikes that I would basically call motocross clone bikes. water-cooled, 4-stroke, high-end, high component level. They're $5,000. They're more like $5,000, but you get like top of the line, aluminum hubs, folding levers, all aluminum frames. Some have steel frames, sorry, but both options are available. Aluminum swing arms with them. Top line components. So if you're in the $5,000 range and you don't want like the top end and you don't need the fire breathing horsepower of a brand spanking new bike, I would suggest you look at some of those like an SSR, GPX, or a Kayo. The technology is approximately 10 years old. Like if you were to get, I'm going to say an SSR 450, just to give it a good example. The suspension is fine. It's not the top of the line. It's cloned from Honda. You're talking about maybe 10-year-old technology. Forks I know to be, the old, like 2000 era copies of twin chambers. But that's fine. You got to realize that, most people, the average Joes, don't need all the technology that they're paying for with these new bikes and can't utilize it anyways. Unless you're unless you're like a racer all the time and you've always had like the nicest, newest bikes, I'm talking about the general populace, they're not needing that much. They're not needing that much horsepower. They're not needing that kind of cutting edge technology. And quite frankly, we've been forced to pay for it because there haven't been good options. That's where these China bikes are coming in and filling a void that was left in the marketplace for the average Joe, the weekend warrior that's going out to the dunes, going out in trails, riding with their sons or daughters. So I'm going to leave it right there. You guys can investigate the different models, but what they're offering is a little bit older technology, a little bit cheap, half the price of a new one. And frankly, you're getting good, reliable technology nowadays. You're getting stuff that worldwide has been proven technology. So like an example, the SSR, they're basing their engine. Their engine is based on a 2006 Honda CRF 450X, which is the trail model. It's basically a direct clone. Because the patents went out, they were able to recopy it. So it's pretty cool. I know you guys, you may feel bad about it political-wise. You may not agree with, have problems with China bikes. I get that. I had to get over that myself too. I want to share something that a lot of people probably don't even know, and I just found this out recently too. Chinese manufacturers, or that part of the world, because it also includes Taiwan and a couple other places, Malaysia, they account for over 40% of the motorcycles sold in the world. So get that number in your head. Over 40%. And that number is climbing annually. So even when you buy a Japanese bike, some of the parts are actually sourced from Chinese countries or that area of the world. So getting back kind of to this about the China, having this as an option for making it inexpensive for you and a good option to have a dirt bike again. This is also good for beginners because they're not fire breathers. They're usually based on older technology, but they also kind of detune them. So they run the, like prime example with my bike. My bike ran timing retarded by 10 degrees. So by doing that, you get a little bit less compression and you don't get the screaming top end. So it's a little bit more mellow, more trail oriented to start with, and that's easier for beginners. But it still leaves you plenty of room to mod it out, like I have done with mine. Everything can be modded most parts, believe it or not, are actually sourced from your Japanese. So like mine is a Honda CRF 230 clone engine. So a lot of my parts I can get direct from Honda. And then the aftermarket supplies, just dirt bikes in general. So, pro taper bars, levers, tires, rims, sprockets, chains. Suspension can be serviced by shops. Graphics and plastic tend to mimic other companies like Husky and KTM. So the affordability is there, the reliability is there. I'm meant to say this in the beginning. I am one of these people who believed that a China bike was a piece of crap because I had heard of so many people buying a Chinese bike and blowing out rims and blowing out frames and breaking engines from first rides or week one, destroying them. I'm here to tell you that the companies that I named, SSR, GPX, Kayo, and Orion, have really stepped up their game with quality. These things don't break. There are parts and individual pieces here and there with every manufacturer, even the Japanese I found out, even the Austrians with the KTMs. You still have problems day one. I mean, some things are just mechanical things break, mechanical things wear out, mistakes are made in assembly, and that just is commonplace with dirt bikes. But in general, they have stepped up their game and the quality is there. Maybe a notch down from the Japanese, but still, when you buy a dirt bike, you really got to go through it from day one anyways. The last brand new spanking bike I bought was a 2001 Honda CRF 250 two-stroke. I bought it right off the showroom floor. Day one, I took it home to my shop and tore it all apart. Took off the front forks and the triple clamps and got back in there and re-greased the bearings. Same with with the wheels and the axles. Re-greased everything. Went through the whole bike and took off all the plastic. Went through and did oiled the filter, Loctited the nuts and bolts, retorqued everything. Just general maintenance and setup should be your number one priority, no matter if you buy a Japanese, an Austrian, or in this case, a China bike. And to have an expectation of that not to be the way or not to be the case that you're going to have to do that is unrealistic. You need to go through your bike. You need to set it up correctly. You need to do the things that are required for regular maintenance. Your oils, your chains, oil your air filter. Go through and check to see that you have, recently someone told me about finding plastic in their pet cock, their gas pet cock, and it reduced the flow into their gas. Another example I heard recently was the actual gas filter was the wrong way. Therefore, it wouldn't allow gas to go to the carburetor. These are some of the things that sometimes you have to look for. But they're common. Don't think that that's not normal. Even in the Japanese bikes, mistakes like that are made. Sometimes the prime example, Austrian, KTM. A friend of mine got a brand new bike. What happened? The battery cables were cross-wired. Wouldn't start. Actually blew out a rectifier or something. So it wasn't good to have it, the polarization backwards, so it messed up a couple things. But getting back to it, there are affordable ways to dirt bike. I'm going to give you more examples of things that you can do to save money that aren't specific to buying a bike. But I'm going to go forward with this one. I like this series in my mind. I'm getting motivated to kind of come up with ideas. If you like, please, would you drop a like and a like and subscribe down in the, and comment in the comments. All of that helps me get noticed on the algorithm with YouTube, and it helps me to make more of these videos. So I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you. You guys, the guys that do have bikes, be safe out there. Bye.